Actually have that set up this time. I'll put this here. This is one of those cameras that has a mind of its own, and it never tells me what it's thinking. It just does whatever the heck. Oh, look over there. Chinese. Not that there's anything wrong with that. That's just I'm sure one of the reasons it takes so long to load when I get home, I'll upload a video and it takes forever. And I think it's because, well, China is copying it too, you know, so. However, but welcome to philosophy. Philosophy is a really weird subject. How many of you have ever studied philosophy before? Of any sort? One person. Are you Brandon?
Yeah.
How about that? I figured that out. Well, welcome. Glad to see you. And you are, sir?
David.
David. UAA gives me like a list of who's supposed to be here, and a lot of the names all have pictures of some folks. You know, some of them are pretty ugly, but you know, that's for the most part, it's absolutely amazing. All these folks coming in. But just so you know, I'm the humblest person in the room, and proud of it, by the way, just so you know. That's funny. You define the proud, I'm the humblest person, and I'm proud of that. That's like
Oxymoron.
Thank you. I do tell jokes. My wife still laughs at them. And we're going to be married 53 years this October. So, I mean, we were, you know, infants. No, that's not true. However, I think the main reason I tell so many jokes is because I'm scared to death of everything, you know, and by laughing and using escapism and so on, I can, like, you know, shelter myself from all the things that are going on. I was in grammar school when, you know, we were supposed to worry about things like Cuba firing a nuclear weapon at the United States, and I remember the nuns having us get under the seats. You know, they had those desks. You could get underneath the desk, and that was supposed to protect us, I suppose, from nuclear bombs. I don't know. You've seen pictures of, you know, everything's gone. I don't know if that would have helped. But so they tried to scare us to death right from the beginning. How many of you feel scared to death today? I mean, we've got Mount Spur right across the inlet here, and Mount Spur could go off. Well, they just canceled the alert. You know, it took them like 3 months to cancel the alert. But it has gone off before. How many of you been here for previous eruptions?
Mount St. Helens?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, we have. I remember when St. Augustine went off, because we were down across the you know, we were at the Captain Cook Recreation facility down there, which is, you could see it. You know, it's right across. You could see it from Anchorage too, but on the way home, the cloud of ash, you know, swept in, and I still have a Ford Econoline, 1991, and I got out and I put the nylon stocking on the little intake. Drove. The engine's still fine, so that worked, I guess. I changed the oil. But we have all kinds of meteorites. Are we going to have a meteorite attack us anytime soon? Did you see the movie Don't Look Up? And then on top of that, we have scientists like Neil deGrasse Tyson telling us, you know, that was accurate. That movie was accurate. We could have those kinds of things hit the earth, and yes, they could, so, I don't know, maybe you should be scared to death. On the other hand, I had a good breakfast this morning. So, a little bit of humor, I guess, helps. Well, I'm Bill Jamison. Some people pronounce it Jameson, and that's okay. I'm fine with that. The only name I don't like is late for dinner. So don't call me late for dinner. That's see another joke. Thanks, you're catching on. Okay. I was raised Roman Catholic. How many know what that is? 2 people. There is a Pope, Pope Leo. Good friend of mine, actually. He emails me every day. It's fun, Today he's praying for the youth, by the way, just so you know. Every day he prays for a different group. Why can't you just pray for everybody? That would work, wouldn't it? Okay. I do have a rosary. Actually, I have 3 rosaries. One of them the Army gave me, so it's camouflaged, and I've not been able to find it for years. It's like green cloth with a black plastic cross, and so that if you're out in the dark, you can't find the dang thing. However, but Pope Leo blessed my rosary. I held up the nice one that I know exactly where it is, right as he was giving the blessing. Pater et Filius et Spiritus Sanctus, Amen. That's Latin, right? How many have heard of Latin? More people have heard of Latin than Catholic. That's interesting. Catholica means universal. So it just means everybody. The Pope is your Pope, which just means father in Italian, I guess. So I was raised Roman Catholic, so I had nuns for my first 8 years in an elementary school, which was named St. Cyril's of Alexandria, which is still there. Of course, all those years I thought St. Cyril must have been a really wonderful person because he was a saint. And then, older, I ended up seeing a movie called, I forget what the name of the movie was. However, it was all about Alexandria and Hypatia, who was the Hypatia. Who's Hypatia? Hypatia.
She's the first woman in culture.
Did I spell it right? Hypatia. This is the movie that I saw, and it is. Oh, that's an ad, right? No. What is going on here? Oh, I get it. That's not the movie, actually. However, so Hypatia, genius, considered by some people to have been the smartest woman that ever lived. How the heck would you ever check that out? I don't know, but that's what they said. Her father was the mathematician who was the head of the Library of Alexandria. Yes, the one that burned. Twice, actually. Once during her demise. But he was the one who gave us the copy of Euclid's Elements, which you've all read that, right? No. Okay.
Skimmed it.
A point is that which has no parts. A line is a series of points. You don't have it memorized. Okay. In any case, the Christians killed her because she was an atheist, a pagan, a teacher, the head of the Library of Alexandria. And the Christians stripped her, took seashells, because Alexandria is on the seacoast, used the seashells to scrape her skin off, and left her lying in the sun till she died. And the head of the Christians was Cyril of Alexandria. And I'm like horrified. I had thought St. Cyril was a nice guy, and he did that to the smartest woman that ever lived. Or at least encouraged his followers to do it. Horrified. After grammar school with the nuns, the Immaculate Heart of Mary, I went on to Roman Catholic high school where I had monks who were Augustinians. I was prepared to do that myself. I almost went to Villanova, and they didn't have a shooting there just the other day. But I almost went there. I actually visited the seminary, was behind the bars. But it was also at the same year that I discovered sex. Not the practical aspect of it. I just discovered that my high school was all boys. 666 of us graduated in 1969, so that was, pretty big high school. And a short alleyway away was the high school for girls. So we didn't really know what they were like. We could see them across the way, and they really looked weird. They wore outfits where they were wearing skirts. Weird things, But senior year, I found out about them. Father Meyer gave us the lecture and explained how things worked. And he smoked afterwards in class. You could still do that. That's kind of funny too, if you think about it. That weekend, a friend of mine and I went to the Philadelphia Free Library in Philadelphia, and it's free. It's kind of aptly named. And we went to the restricted section. You pull the book off the shelf, it goes, "Roar!" Anybody get that reference? Okay, so some of you get that reference. So. But we opened the book. It was the Christian Guide to Marital something or other, to marriage maybe. And there was a page where they actually had pictures. We didn't have the internet. And Father Meyer told us the truth. The male actually does that to the female. I remember coming home that evening and walking by my parents' bedroom door and thinking, oh, they must have done that at least 5 times. Because there were 5 of us. Roman Catholics. My mom said we used the rhythm method. I was rhythm number 1, Steve was rhythm number 2, Chris was rhythm number 3, Beth was rhythm number 4, and Mark was rhythm number 5. She used the rhythm method. She lost her rhythm after that. They removed her female parts, so there were just 5 of us. Instead of like 15, 20, 100. Have you seen the movie, The Monty Python, The Meaning of Life? Okay, well so you're still sane then. You haven't seen that. All right. So I decided not to go to seminary because I wanted to find out more about this. So I went to college for music. I thought I was a good musician. I was the clarinetist, the first chair in the band at Monsignor Bonner. So I thought I was pretty good. I got to Westchester and I discovered that I didn't have something called talent. And apparently you need talent to be a musician. So that meant I had to change my major or I was going to end up in Vietnam. Are any of you from Vietnam? A lot of people from Vietnam. Vietnam's a good friendly nation with us so far. I don't know what the tariff is right now. Probably not good. I bet my underwear comes from there, but I'm not sure. However, so I switched my majors from music to what? Went to the guidance counselor. I had to switch or I was going to go to Vietnam, and so she showed me the book, and the first thing I saw was anthropology. And I thought, well, you'd have to grow a beard and dig in the dirt. I didn't want to do either of those things. The next one was psychology, and I had already met a few psych majors, and they were all absolutely crazy. I didn't want to join that group, right? Then they had sociology, and I was thinking that was social work, and I thought that meant I would have to be poor and work with poor people, and I didn't want that either, right? I kind of wanted to have all the abstract, wonderful virtues